Hello and welcome to Crypto News. Today is October 29th, 2025, and here are the top cryptocurrency news stories. Moving on, let's move on to our news and start with Bhutan, which has gradually accumulated $1.3 billion in Bitcoin. Bhutan has been hoarding and specifically mining Bitcoin since 2020 and has accumulated 12,062 Bitcoin, which, as I said, is worth about $1.3 billion. Slowly, but surely. Continuing as we keep an eye on everyone buying or owning Bitcoin, we move on to ProCap, a company that bought $386 million worth of Bitcoin, or in other words, 3,724 Bitcoin. From Bitcoin, we now move on to Ethereum and Bit Digital, whose stock fell by about 15% after an Ethereum-related announcement. This particular company was a former BTC miner, and its stock price drop comes after it announced that it would be launching a $150 million public offering for a strategic shift towards staking on Ethereum. Following this announcement, as we said, its stock price dropped, as you can see. Moving on, we move on to the Bybit hack, where some of the money seems to have gone to a Greek exchange. Specifically, the proceeds from the massive $1.5 billion hack of Bybit in February were traced by Greek authorities to an unnamed Greek cryptocurrency exchange. First of all, we can say that this hack is linked to the Lazarus Group. According to the president of the Greek anti-money laundering agency, Mr. Charalambos Vorliotis, the regulator detected a suspicious transaction by a registered user of the Greek stock exchange in May. The wallet appears to contain a large amount of coins. Of course, the exchange and our specific numbers are unknown at this time. According to reports, an order has been issued to seize the capital, and a report has been submitted to the National Assembly for further legal action. This entire article I'm referring to was written based on data from the matter. However, I cannot find names or specific details in the original source. Continuing our news, we also move on to crypto cards, which seem to be used by more and more people. Crypto cards are surpassing traditional banks in Europe in terms of micro purchases, with 45% of transactions using crypto-linked cards being under $12, a category that used to be dominated by cash. In other words, it appears that 45% of cryptocurrency usage in Europe involves transactions under $12 rather than using traditional cash. According to the charts you see in front of you, 30% of this money goes to groceries, and 18% goes to food, and 14% go to retail stores, and obviously 72% of these money is used in stablecoins, while 10% is used in BTC. Now, we will also go to Mr. Vitalik himself, who tells us about his new vision of anonymity. According to Ethereum's founder, Mr. Vitalik, he has introduced a new kind of digital identity system called pluralistic, arguing that it will be able to protect privacy while allowing just participation in digital life. Mr. Vitalik says that even zero-knowledge systems ZK, even these systems cannot protect privacy. In the example of identity, zero-knowledge technology can prove that they are subject to an identity without revealing our personal data. First of all, Mr. Vitalik believes that because there is a digital identity for a person, this can break anonymity, and for this reason, it has come up with this new system, which in theory, at some point, we could see in Ethereum's blockchain. He believes it is a much better system for protecting privacy. Moving on to our coins, we will also go to Lido, whose DAO has voted for double governance. Specifically, he voted for a double governance structure, giving stakers the power to delay or implement a veto on the decisions of the DAO. So these are very good news, especially for Ethereum's whales, as you understand. Because from nowhere, without buying the currency from which I understand it, they can make important decisions. And for the latest news of the day, we will go to Solana, who once again surpassed Ethereum, this time in DEX. According to DeFi Llama data, when it comes to DEX trading, Solana holds 15% of the volume, while Ethereum holds only 12%. One currency I didn't expect to go so well is BSC, which owns 47% of the volume in the DEX. This is a form of Tether living in Binance's blockchain. It is the Binance Bridge USDT. So with that, let's go to our favorite encryption market, with Bitcoin standing at $107,000 at the last few days, trying to copy stablecoins. That wraps up the top news for crypto today is October 29th, 2025. I'd like to remind you that content you just watched is created for educational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, but rather as investment opinion. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and feel free to comment. Take care everyone and have a good day.